Hello and welcome to Queenie's Card of the Month for April 2014. It's very interesting because there's a lot of intensity happening right now in the skies, astrologically wise and I feel like we're really being stretched and everything. And then it's funny when I pull a card that seems so heavy in the middle of all this intensity, it kind of cracks me up, and then I have to, it makes me have to think a little hard. But that's okay. It's a stretch. It's a challenge. And it's an opportunity. So the card of the month for this month is the Faerie who was kissed by Pixies. Now, she's pretty cute. And there are all kinds of little beings around there, and even almost like a little dog bear kind of being up at the top with flowers in his hair. And that's pretty sweet. Well, the Faerie that was kissed by Pixies, the meaning of that card is about opening up to receive love. What can I say here? Love, love, love. And so while that's really great, when we're going through times like this where we're kind of being forced to look at the truth, whether we want to or not, and sometimes that truth makes us want to change direction, and sometimes that truth makes us want to stay in the same place that we, stay where we are. We're learning the truth of what we don't want and what we don't want, and all kinds of trajectory changes and all kinds of stretching, and some discomfort is going on. And to have the Faerie who is kissed by Pixies be the card of the month for April, you'd think, wow, that's kind of a fluffy card, but it's also about being receptive to what is, being receptive to the gifts of the moment, even if those gifts are discomfort, even if those gifts are not something you're happy about, along with the gifts that you're happy about. But I think this card, or I feel this card, is also about acceptance of the self. And I know that I talk about this a lot, about self-acceptance and about self-love, but I really believe that it's something that I'm learning in my life, and I think that it is the core of if we had more people that were more accepting of who they are and what they want, what they need, and loving with themselves, we would probably have a lot less strife and a lot less scary, disturbing things going on in the world. Maybe we would even have world peace if we could find some sort of peace in here. And I know that seems like a pipe dream in the midst of all this stuff going on and the news, and so many people are struggling and suffering, and so many people are causing themselves to struggle and suffer, aside from outside forces. Our inner forces are messing around with us in a huge way as well. So I see the Faerie who is kissed by Pixies as an indication that it's time to, accept that, to stop pretending that things aren't the way they are, to accept the reality of where you're at, and to be okay with where you're at, because you know that it's only temporary, that things change all the time. And I use the word receptive because this is a receptive card. It's about receiving the love of the universe. And honestly, by accepting exactly where you are and accepting the reality of something, you are, in a sense, receptive to, yourself, and receptive to the love of the universe. Okay? So we've got the Faerie who is kissed by Pixies. And another thing I wanted to talk about, hopefully this video camera, because it cut me off before, it made me so mad because I had to start over. Anyway, is that I get this image of what's happening right now for April is, and what will be happening in May and probably by up until mid-June. I mean, maybe it'll stop just in time for my birthday. Who knows? But is that I see energetically, I see like this egg. And it's inside each and every single one of us. And maybe it's like a world inside, but it's kind of cracking open and moving and shifting, and something inside it is expanding to where it's that this little circle can't contain it anymore. And I see light coming out of it or in it. Right now you can see it around the crack. So imagine that my fingers, where my fingers are are like the crags and cracks of this egg that's expanding, and you're seeing light. I can see my mouth through there. That's funny. Anyway, you're seeing light come out and emanate from there. That's light. That's you. That's you, each of you, including myself, as a soul, like wanting to expand a little bit more, wanting to be a little bit more. And so I'm seeing that this is a time of that. Now, that is like birth. That's not necessarily the most comfortable, relaxing experience ever. And so we're not going to have, it's not going to be comfortable and relaxing and everything. But the thing with the fairy that was kissed by pixies, this energy is to be receptive, to understand. Oh, so it's almost like surrendering to what is, surrendering to what is happening. So you may be struggling, surrendering to that struggle, not surrendering to that struggle like letting yourself go under, but accepting, okay, so this really sucks right now, but that can all change. So you're, let's see, distracted? No. So being able to be receptive to what is and be accepting of yourself, because we're all going through it in different ways. And as I think that our state of inner peace gets reflected outside us, because we're all part of it. We're all soaking in it. We're all connected to everything, regardless of whether you like it or not, whether you like the terrible things that are going on, that have been going on for thousands of years, whatever, you're part of it because you're soaking in it. And you can't, it's not that you can't avoid it, because you certainly can, but I'm finding that a lot of ways that we're in denial about things are really kind of coming up for acceptance, for acknowledgement. There are more people that are talking about more things that are not comfortable subjects. They're not comfortable things for people to talk about, but we're still, there's dialogue being, which means that it's coming to a place where we're ready to receive, as the fairy who was kissed by pixies. We're ready to receive that information. We're ready to receive that love. We're ready to receive that truth, whether it feels really happy or not. We're ready to receive it and be with it. So the month of April, that the fairy who was kissed by pixies means that there's a little bit of a softness to what would otherwise be kind of a rough month. And like I said, I'm seeing that egg thing. I'm seeing that there will be more movement in May. So we'll see what the card of the month is for May, but there's going to be more opening and more movement. And the more that you can accept where you're at, understand that it's temporary if it doesn't feel good, and understand that it's temporary even if it does feel good, that this is just, it is what it is right now, and be able to move on to the next thing, that will help you a lot. And I'll be doing it too. This has been the card of the month with Queenie for April. It is the fairy who was kissed by pixies. And I love you very much, and I hope you have a good month. And hang in there, because you know what? It changes all the time, right? Bye.